Hey y'all, it's Jay here from Jay's Decor and Restore, and welcome back to part 3. We are now moving into the painting of the cable spool that's going to go in, turn into a patio table. If you haven't watched part 1 and 2, stop this video now. No, I'm kidding. Just go back and take a look at them, because it really gives you an idea of how I started and where I am now. So like, subscribe. There will be one more after this, which will include the big reveal. So stay tuned for that. But for today, we're going to go ahead and start painting. There are a couple of steps that we need to take in order to ensure that we get a nice, clean, painted finish, as well as weatherproofing it. We want to make sure that it is going to withstand the elements of outside, because this patio table will be used outside. And then also polyurethane it to make sure that the paint doesn't chip or scratch or anything like that. So there's going to be a lot of steps to this one. So hang in there, and again, like, subscribe, share, and let's go ahead and get started. Okay, let me go ahead and kind of break down the products I'm going to be using for the paint. First, we have the Kilts, which is the primer, which will go on first. This is the best primer that I have found, and I've used it for quite a few of my projects. And then we have the Cowboy Blue. It's a high gloss interior, exterior. All of these paints will be interior, exterior. And then we have the Apple Red for the red portion of the flag, and finally just a high gloss white. And also, this is the first time I've ever used this. I hear it's very good. At least that's what the gentleman told me at Home Depot. But I wanted to make sure I have a good waterproofing solution that I could use after I have been, after I've finished painting. And so this will go on after all the painting's been done, to ensure that the wood and the paint hold up in the elements of the, sun, rain, things like that. So that will be the last thing we use. But we're going to go ahead and start with priming first. And I will be right back as soon as I get everything set up. Before I start priming, I wanted to recap what I did on my last video for this project. So I filled the cracks with the wooden filler, and I've sanded it down. It's really nice and smooth. So before priming, I did want to point out that you always want to clean off the surface before you start painting or priming. I usually use my shop vac to pick up all, like, just the bits and pieces of, in this case, the wood filler, and then I take a cloth to make sure I wipe down all the dust so that none of that sticks to the primer or the paint. So I'm going to go ahead and start priming. This is the base, and I'm going to use, let me remove this so I can get ready to start priming. I'm going to use a roller, only because I'm dealing with a really big surface here with the base and the top of the table. And so I found that it's probably going to be faster if I use a roller for priming. So I'll just show a little bit of how I go about doing this. And I will remove this out of the way here. And I just, nice layer, nice even layer of the primer. And this is really for a couple of reasons. Because this surface is so rough and porous, I want to make sure that I have something, a primer down, so that when I do paint, I don't have to use near as much paint, because being that the surface is porous, it will soak up the paint pretty quickly. So primer will help. It'll also keep the wood, it's a protective kind of layer. So I'm going to keep priming here. I have quite a bit to do. I have the base and the top, and then I'm going to come back when I start painting. Now this is what it'll look like after it's been primed. And I'm going to get closer so you can see all those areas that we filled in. You'll see, with wood filler, it's all pretty nice and even now. So after sanding it down and you know, cleaning it off and priming it, it now looks like a nice smooth surface. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and get started painting. Well, we're getting closer to the end of the table being finished, and I wanted to show you, I started painting the Texas flag on the table. I'm going to get a little closer so you can see kind of how I put the tape on. Okay, so I use, if you saw one of my other videos, you'll know I love frog tape. Painter's tape just does not give you, excuse me, the crisp, clean lines that that you would typically get with frog tape. So the blue is already finished. I moved the tape over so that it aligns perfectly with that line, which is right here is where the blue ends, and I put the frog tape over that so to protect the blue. And I've now put the first layer of red and the first layer of white. And once that's dry, once I do a second coat and that's dry, I will move the tape over on the red side further so that it's a nice even white section and red section for the Texas flag. Well, the flag is now painted, and I wanted to show you how beautifully this turned out. The frog tape, I tell you, really works for some really crisp, clean lines. I want to get up close so you can see how nice and clean that is. Now for the star, I did use my Cricut machine to create a vinyl that is used for outdoors, so a decal basically. And that allows for, you know, a nice star. I couldn't have done this freehand, I can tell you that. So anyway, this is it's called Oracle 651. If you have a Cricut machine or a Silhouette, that's the best kind of vinyl to use. I'm actually going to put a link below on if you're interested in doing crafts or have been thinking about getting a Cricut machine. One of the best places to buy it is Amazon, and also the Oracle 651 vinyl is only really available online. You can't really find it at any of your Hobby Lobby stores or Joann Fabrics. So I'll put a link to that as well. I'm very, very happy with how it turned out. So now I'm going to start putting the table back together. See you in a bit. Well, I put the base together. You remember the planks I cut earlier in the video, and I wanted to show you now that I've painted the planks. I have used liquid nail glue. This is heavy duty, and what I did is I used the ratchet ties to put everything in place. You'll see the ratchet ties there, and then I poured the liquid glue one at a time. And once I had glue on all the planks, I tightened that ratchet tie so that it holds them in place. So we are getting close to the table being finished, and I will do the final reveal of the table when I finish the stool. So this is going to be the end of this section of the video. And be sure to subscribe if you haven't, so that you could see the entire video and the final reveal of the table and the stools.